Thank you everyone for attending. Before we start, just a few housekeeping announcements. Let's make sure that everyone's mic is muted throughout the presentation. If you have questions, feel free to send them in the chat. And for anyone who is new to the Nigerian Center, we are a nonprofit organization that focuses on uplifting and giving resources to the Nigerian diaspora in the US. We aim to accomplish this in a variety of ways. We offer immigration legal services, homeownership services, entrepreneurship, as well as language classes. We also host cultural events centered around the Nigerian culture. While we are called the Nigerian Center, our principal goal is to help uplift all immigrant communities here in the US. So now moving towards today's event, today's speaker, who has courteously volunteered his time, is Mr. Edward Somori. He is a mortgage finance expert, and today's topic will be, it's time to move from renting to owning. And it's a workshop geared towards helping people transition into home buying. But before we hear from Mr. Somori, we'll have a brief word from our CEO and founder, Mr. Benga Ogunjimi. Benga, the podium's all yours.
Thank you very much, Tyler, and thank you everyone for coming. If you all can do me a favor, if you can chat in the chat box the location you're joining us from, that would be great. Oh, North Carolina. Welcome, Femi. Welcome, Duramo, Minnesota. Welcome. Kindly use the chat box to let us know where you're joining us from. That would be great. Do we have anyone local in the DMV, Washington, DC area? Oh, we don't have anyone from the DC area? I would say just yet. Okay, so I'm gonna move forward and kind of continue. So everyone, welcome once again to our home ownership series. This is our very first ever home ownership workshop, and we're so thrilled that you're joining us to make this a possibility. The audio, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, fix up the microphone. Can you hear me better now? Is it okay? Oh, excellent. Okay, so I'm going to start all over again. So welcome everyone to the very first ever home ownership workshop of the Nigerian Center. We are so glad that you've made the time to join us at this particular event. So before we move forward, I want to give an overview about the Nigerian Center and use this opportunity to orient those who are joining our programs for the very first time. The Nigerian Center is a cultural and immigrant center for the Nigerian American community, and also aim to serve all immigrant groups in the United States. We are physically located in the Washington, DC area, but our program is geared to reach the rest of the country. About the programs that we have, as Tyler mentioned, we have 4 major asset building areas. The very first overarching theme or mission of organization is to foster financial inclusion and provide access to the Nigerian culture and the African culture in the United States. The way we are doing that is, first and foremost, we recognize that home ownership is a cornerstone for wealth creation in the United States and basically every part of the world. We know that home ownership is a pathway for financial inclusion. So this is why this program is very important to us, helping our audience and our community navigate the barriers and the resources and the opportunities and the requirements for transitioning from renting to owning their own homes in the United States. The second asset area is access to entrepreneurship, entrepreneurial capital. We know that entrepreneurship, for the vast majority of members in our community, is not just a luxury, it's not just a desire, it's a survival strategy. But when the barriers exist for folks to access startup capital, that journey of financial inclusion becomes difficult. So because of that, we are offering small business programs, particularly access to funding opportunities for that to be able to become a reality. The third area happens to be immigration. Immigration is very critical for our community, and I would say is the #1 overarching need for a vast majority of our community. Oftentimes while the spotlight is often shone on success stories within the Nigerian community or the West African or Greater African community, very rarely do we see the spotlight being shone on those who might be undocumented, those who might be in the background, or those who are still trying to navigate their residency status in the United States. So because of that, we are providing access to immigration opportunities for members of the community. Lastly, of our program, if we can all mute our mics, that would be terrific. Thank you very much. Lastly, in our programs is the cultural programs that we have. And our programs at this point is language classes. We are offering Yoruba language classes, Hausa language classes, and Igbo language classes for those who are first generation Nigerian American, and even anyone who might be allies of the culture, who want to increase their cultural competency about Nigerian languages. So those are the 4 main programs that we run. But today we are focusing on our home ownership program, and the theme is moving from renting to owning. Before I turn it over to a speaker today, I want to highlight specific opportunities that we have upcoming. Our immigration workshops, the very first class is scheduled to hold next week, 29th of June. And the topic of that event is employment-based immigration, what you need to know. Oftentimes within our community, family-based immigration is often the norm, and very little do we know about the opportunities that exist when it comes to employment-based and business-based immigration. We know that there are 5 broad categories for employment-based immigration, and this includes investors opportunity, special immigrants opportunity, entrepreneur opportunity. So all of the categories that exist, and even opportunity for folks to even self-sponsor and petition for their residence in the United States. We are going to have our legal experts cover this event, provide this event. So we encourage you, if we can make the link available. So if you go to Nigerian Center /events, the link should be in the chat section. You can please register for this event.
The all workload cases, but this is.
Can we again, if we can kindly, we'll be taking questions very soon. Thank you for understanding that. So the second event I want to talk about is our very first meet and greet happening at the Roundhouse Theater in Bethesda, Maryland. It's a 2-day event. It's July 1st and July 2nd, Friday and Saturday of next week. It's going to be a 2-fold event. It's going to be the premiere of a live play called Nollywood Dreams. Nollywood, as you know, is the Nigerian equivalent of Hollywood. And it's a live play about 90s in Lagos, Nigeria. So we invite you all to be a part of this community. It's going to be an opportunity post-pandemic to meet in person. We have selected complimentary tickets that's going to be available for folks. We cannot guarantee everyone will receive a complimentary ticket to the play, but if not, we have the opportunity for in-person event, and we're trying as much as possible to get free ticket for as many people as possible. So go to our event page, register for the event, and then we'll let you know if we can offer you a free ticket. We're trying to make these tickets available to a lot of people as possible. We have 2 dates, July 1st and July 2nd. If you cannot make it on the 1st, please join us on the 2nd. We highly, highly look forward to seeing you there. So we have our Igbo online classes already happening right now, as well as our Yoruba classes. We've extended the dates, so you can still register for these classes. We have received inquiries about these classes. These classes are happening online. They are not in person, so you can access these classes any part of the country. I should say that Nigerian language classes, center language classes are paid program. They're being discounted to our ability, but they are not free programs, they are paid programs, but we do offer payment plans for those programs. Lastly, in the month of July, we are going to start receiving applications for our business credit program, and we're going to be offering financial capital to first-time early stage business, even business idea owner are welcome, meaning business idea stages are welcome. The capitals will be between $500 to $250,000. It will be single-digit interest rate. Some of the loans are without collateral and without credit. As you know, most of the time when folks come from overseas, particularly from Nigeria, we don't have a credit system as we have in the United States. And we also have some cultural practices such as do not borrow money, do not owe anyone money. So it takes a while to adjust to the credit system, and folks go for years without establishing credit. So through this program, we're able to provide credit building loans for those who may be considered credit invincible to start to establish credit. So if you know anyone just coming into the country, they can start to establish credit from day one, and that can really ease their way into acquisition of other assets in the country. This would also be available for those who are starting businesses, those who are building their side businesses, or those who are transitioning from employment to a business. We're going to make the loans available to them. So reach out to us. If you go to the programs on the business, or you can just contact us, indicate interest, so we can let you know, so we can start receiving your applications basically for this program. Lastly, I want to talk about a few opportunities to get involved in our programs. First off is volunteers. We are making a call for volunteer. If you go to Nigerian Center/serve, the link should be available in the chat box. You can see the volunteer opportunities that we have. We have volunteers, just reach out to us. Just reach out to us. But more importantly, I think a volunteer opportunity that is within the reach and capacity of most people is just to become an ambassador for the Nigerian Center, letting folks know about our programs, announcing our programs to communities that may need them, and connecting us to organizations or communities we think you should be talking to. This includes cultural groups, professional groups, universities, mosques, churches, places of worship, business networks, everywhere we can reach our immigrant community. And if you can help us become a conduit, we will highly, highly appreciate this. So if you go to Nigerian Center/serve, please let us know. I should also add that at this point, the entirety of our staff are volunteer-based, so please feel free to join our team to make a difference for our community. The next one I want to talk about is social media, following online community. As a matter of fact, if you want to take a minute, not a full minute, a few seconds to go to our social media pages right at this particular moment, we will appreciate it. Our handle on Instagram is The Nigerian Center on Instagram. Kindly follow us right now. Would appreciate it. If you can do the same for Facebook, The Nigerian Center, please follow us right now. We're going to appreciate it. The link on Twitter is just Nigerian Center. On Twitter is not The Nigerian Center. It's just Nigerian Center. So if you can please go to Instagram, the Nigerian Center, Facebook, the Nigerian Center, Twitter, Nigerian Center, and start to follow us. We will highly, highly appreciate it. Lastly, I want to talk about donations. We want to ask that you consider donating to Nigerian Center. And if you also want to partner with us to be a monthly recurring donor, it's going to mean a whole lot to continue to provide the services that we provide. We know that our community is one of the most generous communities in the world. Let's take the charity home. We ask for your donations to what we do. Please go to nigeriancenter.org/donate to be able to make your contributions. The link should be coming into the chat box very shortly. To become a monthly donor, once you go to the donation page and you go to PayPal, there's a little icon there that said make this a recurring donation. We ask that you partner with us for a couple of months to support these programs and see how far your contributions will make a difference. That said, I want to turn it over to our speaker, but before I do that, I can take a question or two. I saw someone wanted to ask me a question at some point. Is there a question for me right now? If you have a question, you can unmute yourself or you can chat your questions. Okay. Without questions, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Edward Somori. Mr. Edward, the floor is yours. Thank you so much for saying yes to our invitation.
Thank you very much for having me on this forum. And thanks to everyone for joining. So my mission here is to talk to you about home buying and hopefully to dissuade or knock out some of the fears that people have. People think, oh, buying a home is an expensive thing. It's not for me. I just came to Nigeria, to America, or I just graduated. My credit is not good. I don't make enough income. I was told I have to have a boatload of savings before I can become a homeowner. Different things people talk about as reasons for not qualifying to buy a house. So my hope is just to be able to talk to you, let you know some of the things that are available out there for you and why it's easy to become a homeowner in this free country of ours that we live in. Let me see if I can briefly share something that I was just telling Benga that I recorded this, my kids recorded for me this afternoon, talking about mortgages. I will just play that real quick if I... Mortgages, hold on. Mortgages, what you think you know and what you don't know. Let me do that again. Mortgages, what you think you know and what you don't know. I don't know why it's hanging. One, never shop for interest. Your credit should not pay your American rate. Let a mortgage expert. Well, unfortunately, that is hanging and breaking up. But two things. When people talk mortgage, the first thing they want to ask is interest. Oh, what is the rate you are giving me? What is the rate I'm going to get? Yada, yada. Never shop for interest. Shop for the real cost. And number two, oh, I'm waiting until my credit score is 1,000%, if there's anything like that. There is nothing like 1,000%, but I'm just exaggerating. You don't need to wait until you are perfect before you can realize your American dream. Even if your credit is less than perfect, you still can own a home. Number three, oh, I'm an immigrant. I don't have a social security number. I have a social security number, but I was told as an immigrant, I cannot buy a home, or maybe because I just came yesterday. That is not true. If your purpose of coming here or why you are here is to realize the American dream, which most of us, at least I for one, is the reason why I'm still here and I've been here for over 22 years. You still can realize that American dream. And last but not the least, I want to say the fact that you don't have a boatload of money saved does not preclude you from home ownership. You don't have to have a boatload of money before owning a home. You can own a home. I'm just going to talk to you, and maybe down the road when we meet, or if anybody wants to go in deep, then I can go in deep. But it's all about mindset, and I want to tell you that. And I'll tell you my own personal story. When I came into the country in the year 2000, I lived in an apartment, and the apartment was horrible. And I decided I was going to look for a different place to live before I have my wife and I were expecting our first kid. My wife had insisted that she was not going to have a baby there because the apartment was rats and roaches infested. And I met somebody in my local church and I said, I'm looking for an apartment. And she said, why don't you buy? And like most of you, probably, I said, no, I don't qualify to buy, that I cannot buy. One, I've been told I'm new. Two, I don't have credit established. Three, I don't have a boatload of money. Four, I don't even know my left from my right, and I don't think anybody will walk with me. But long story short, by the time I was clocking a full year in the country, I was signing the document for my very first condominium unit that I own. So I just say this to say, I'm not only telling you, it's what I have been through. So Gwenga sent me some things that he wanted me to just talk about. One, the advantages of renting versus buying. Should I rent? Should I buy? When I talk to most people, they tell me the reason why they want to continue to rent is because they don't have to worry themselves about maintenance of the house. If there's any big maintenance to be done, they'll call the landlord. But think about it. Why do you think the landlord has no problem paying for the maintenance? And why do you think that anybody would want to continue on something that is burdensome if it's not yielding dividend. So I give you a practical example. Today, I know in this is a different case, but say in some part of Maryland, I just spoke with one of my clients who pays $1,500 in monthly rent. She pays $1,500 renting. So it means in a year, she pays about $18,000. And in 10 years, she would have paid $180,000. And after that 10 years, when she leaves with nothing in the savings. No portion of the house belongs to him or her. She would have just helped the person paying. Now, what if I told you that if you pay $1,500 in rent today, that you are closer than ever to owning your own home? And in 10 years, you would have put in, let's even say, about 1/3 of the $180,000 into your own house. And that is savings that is indirect, but very direct. Say number one. And number two, you would have been building your net worth in a way that could be unfathomable. So let's take for example, somebody who owns a condominium in DC and bought that house shortly before pandemic. Probably paid $300,000 for 1-bedroom condo unit. And then you go on Zillow and Google 1-bedroom condominium unit in Northwest DC and see the price. So when you own versus rent, your money that you are paying every month is going into savings because it's reducing the amount of mortgage. That's number one. Number two, your house is rising in value without you doing anything. So that condominium unit that I told you I bought in 2001, I bought it for $40,000. And I sold it in 2003. Can you guess how much I sold it for? At that time, real estate value was just starting to rise in 2003. 2003 was when I sold it. I sold it for $150,000. And I used the money to buy a townhouse that same year for $160,000. So I paid off the money. This is a guy that just came 3 years ago and now had a lot of money to put down for a townhouse. And the rest has been story in my journey in this country. That 40,000 1-bedroom condominium was my launching pad. I'm not going to tell you how many real estate properties I owe and how much contribution they contribute to my net worth. So you are better off buying than renting. The growth in equity impacts you in such a way that you don't understand. Now, let's talk about another thing that owning versus renting gives you. So I own the house, I live in the house, I pay property tax. And you rent, you don't pay property tax. But guess what? The property tax that I pay not only has positive impact in the reduction of my federal taxes, but also directly impact my state taxes. You paying the rent and helping me to pay my mortgage because you are renting from me. You are the one paying the rent and paying the taxes. I am the one writing it off. How good is that? That is number two. Let me go quick so I don't keep you here. Number three myth, oh, you need 20% down payment to get a mortgage. I say Zero. No, you don't need 20% down payment. As a matter of fact, people say, oh, FHA is the best loan to get, 3.5%. How about I tell you that you can get a conventional loan for only 3% down, not even 3.5%. So no, that is not true. I do it, I live it, and I'm telling you, practical, very practical thing. Oh, huge costs. Homeownership carries huge, you say homeownership carries huge opportunity costs. If you can make up your mind and buy. Now, let me tell you one thing. For most of you, and for most programs out there now, yeah, real estate is expensive, or prices are rising, and what have you. But do you know that if you can save 2 to 3 months of your rent, you can literally go into home ownership with that? 2 to 3 months of the rent you pay today, if you can save that, there are programs out there that can help you put you in your own house, irrespective of your income level, irrespective of whether your credit is low or high. So yes, home ownership is a great investment and is a wonderful way of building wealth. If you hear they talk about, oh, Elon Musk is the richest person. I don't know how many of you listened to the news one time when the World Food Organization was saying that if they had a certain amount of millions, they could eliminate hunger. And Elon Musk said, if that is true, he doesn't even have the cash. And that was like hundreds of millions, not even $1 billion. But he said, yes, he's getting ready to sell off some of his stocks to get the cash. So in other words, when we call him the richest person in the world, not that he has that cash stacked up somewhere there. It is the equity he has in whether real estate or stocks or whatever, and the growth they've grown over the year. The value is what they are referring to as his net worth. So consider yourself as a real estate owner. Most of you that have, nice properties are actually millionaires because your net worth is over $1 million because of the value you have in your real estate, not because of the cash you have. So it's really something to think about. Number 7, a down payment is all you need to buy a home. I even say, like I said, not even the down payment, because you can get down payment assistance. And there are a lot of programs out there, depending on where you live. There are states, local counties that offers down payment assistance. If you can't even find any, I have programs that offers down payment assistance, 100% FHA, which means the only thing you will need to save is money for closing costs, your portion that you at least have to be responsible for closing costs. And that you can get easily. That's why I said, if you can save 2 to 3 months of your rent, you could possibly, be ready to buy a house. Because the down payment program, there are different down payment assistance programs out there that you can get. Then, you need perfect credit. In my thing that I shared with you, the level of your credit shouldn't, hold you back from attaining your American dream. Whether your credit is 620 or 530 or 550, there are programs out there that will allow. Now, I'm not encouraging that you should be irresponsible with your credit, but things do happen. Life events do happen, right? And perhaps because of that, you find yourself where you are now. That shouldn't keep you back from buying. There are programs you can be helped. Benga just talked about starting to build credit for businesses. Your own credit too can be helped. But even if you don't have that, I have programs whereby with 560, I can close a loan for you. So Mortgage rates are getting too high now. Well, let me tell you, I'm African, right? And in my language, there is a wise saying, or we call it, I'm literally interpreting it, or an adage or proverb that says, whenever you wake up, it's your money. So if you are just waking up and the rate is at 6 point something, don't wait. It's only a lazy man that will be waiting until the rain falls before they till the ground. If you want to wait until the perfect rate is available, you may not get it. Get into the market now. At least you'll be building up equity and you'll be paying down your rate. And of course, you are writing up the interest rate in your taxes anyway. So that interest rate is too high. It will always be too high for some people. And it may not be the right time for some people, but don't wait for the rain. Go ahead, get done what you need to do. Get started with it now. Right, rates may be rising, but when I bought my first house, rate was in the upper 9.5%, 9.75%. When I refinanced to 7.25%, I was jumping up. And I can tell you the rate we have now is still not 9%. FHA is still not 7 point something percent. So the fact that rate is too high is not a good excuse. Please get into the business and get started. Oh, you will lose your house if you miss a mortgage payment. Well, I can tell you, you can easily get evicted from your house 20% more than you can lose your house. If you are, evicted from your rental house. Because I know when I was renting, my rent is due on the 1st. And if by the 5th they have not received my check, they would, by the time I wake up on the 6th, there is notice for eviction slipped under my door. In an apartment. Your rent is not like that. As a matter of fact, the mortgage is not like that. As a matter of fact, the mortgage, you live in the house first before you pay. So for example, if you buy this house today, you will live in there for this month, then this time next month is when your first rent is due. So that you just lose your house just because you miss a mortgage payment. We don't encourage you to miss a mortgage payment. We want you to be responsible with your credit, but you have a lot more leniency with owning your house and even missing a mortgage payment than you have missing your rent. So in the interest of time, let me stop here and see if you have any questions for me. I think that is where I will be able to be more direct. I'm sorry I didn't show you any slide. I just figured that giving you this direct talk will help more. And then if I do have to sit one-on-one with you, then I can go deep into, showing you physical things. But any questions? Mr. Gwenga, we can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much for the excellent presentation. Please, if you have your questions, you can, a few options to do so. You can either chat your question in, you can raise up your hands, use the raising up hand feature so we can know that you have a question. So those two would be helpful. But I want you to quickly speak to those who might be undocumented. You touch on it briefly. We may not have some necessary immigration papers, and because of that, they're not even trying to start this process. Can you speak to that?
So if you are listening to me and you are not, let's just go say you don't have a social security number, right? And you think because of that, you cannot buy. That is not the situation. Yes, you can still own. First thing I will advise you to do is get a tax ID number, which is issued by the IRS. That is just so that you can track your activities. Open a bank account and make sure you save money in that bank account. For undocumented people or tax ID, I call it, ITIN holders, the difference is the amount you'll be required to put down will be higher than the people that are documented and have everything they need. So I have worked with ITIN folks that successfully bought their homes. So what you need to do, apply for the ITIN. Once you have that, begin to save money. They may, because you are considered higher risk, they may ask you to put down 25% or 30%. And I've even had a lot of people who are not even resident, people who are in Nigeria coming in here and getting a mortgage using this program. So yes, you are not, the door is not shut up against you. You still can participate in the American dream.
Thank you very much. Mr. Adebayo, the floor is yours. You can unmute yourself.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Edwards, Mr. Gbenga. Firstly, I want to say a very big thank you from the bottom of my heart for this quality time here. Mr. Edward, Mr. Gbenga, one of the things I've been able to learn over time is that talk from our concept of Nigeria is very cheap. In the next 3-4 months, I want to encourage my brother Gbenga. I want him to showcase my testimony for this program. We are about 11 people on this program. I want to key into this immediately, and I want to buy my house in the next 3 months.
Okay.
So ever to make this happen, to encourage my brother, because Gbenga is selfless. I don't know. I've never seen a Nigerian like this man. Never. Sold out, totally sold out. Not, I don't know. This is price. It's only God that can reward some of the things that you are doing. This is priceless for me. And Mr. Edward too. I have everything to get ready. Maybe the funding can be worked on. But I want a situation where you are doing the next training and you can showcase and say, oh, we have this training on this day. This is what happened, so that we can break some barriers.
Absolutely.
We can break some barriers and be able to give back, because what you are doing for us, to me, I don't know, is priceless. And it's only God that will reward men like you. God will reward you. God will reward you. I pray for you from the bottom of my heart. God, they sent me a paper for my rent. I paid something ridiculous for my rent. My wife has been on me, let's go buy a house. I said, wait. But I want to showcase this intervention to others, and you'll be able to showcase me and say, oh, we are able to do this. Thank you so much. Sorry if I take too much time.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Adebayo, for that. So to respond to that, for those who might be asking, what is the next steps? If you go to the website, nigeriancenter.org, and folks, if you can make the link available on the home ownership program, there's an intake form. The intake form is absolutely free. We're going to ask you some basic qualifying questions. So before we put you before a mortgage specialist like Mr. Edward, we can streamline the process. So we just want to know what's your current situation, what are you looking for, and what state are you in the buying process. We also need that information to be able to track our impact and show data. So you want to be a part of this homeownership opportunity or program support. Where do I go next? Go to the link, start the intake process. You'll be assigned a program manager. One of the things also this program is also helpful is that you have a program manager assigned to you that also help you to research wraparound services that you may need. Whether it's credit, whether it's financial, whether it's legal services, we're able to get you those help that you need. That said, the next person is Johnny. Mr. Johnny, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Gbenga. Thank you, Edward, for that insightful presentation. I'm actually driving in case I'm not too clear, but my question is, do you do pre-approval and approval for people living in Texas? Because I'm currently in Texas.
I'm currently non-licensed personally to offer loans in Texas. We are in the process because I actually was in Texas all of last week working on that process now, but I do have partners down there that I can link you up to that can facilitate that for you. But personally,
Okay.
right now, Vantage as an organization, we are still in the process of getting licensed to operate in the state of Texas.
Okay, thank you so much. So that would be nice to have the information so I can link up with them. Maybe after this call tomorrow. So I will reach out to Benga so we can link up with you so you can connect me and them. Because I actually live in Texas, but I'm interested in buying a home. And also I'm new though, so though we can discuss others once we meet, once I meet up with your friends or we meet up after this presentation. Okay, I'll connect with you later. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is it change Femi?
Yes, just Femi.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Edward, for the presentation. I guess I just wanted to seek some advice. So I'm currently 19 years old, and I've always dreamt of going into real estate and hopefully buy my first home by 21 years old. But then I don't know how realistic that sounds. So I was just trying to see if that's realistic enough, and also things I can start doing from right now to, achieve that goal.
It's actually very, very realistic. I have a 20-year-old son who is still in college, but I encouraged him, even though he's still in college and he's still trying to work. What I did, I said, your job, whatever you are getting now, I'll co-sign with you. And where you live in school, you in that city, Baltimore County, you own a house there, and then you rent to your co-students, and then you start building your own network like that. And at 20, that is exactly what we did. So at 19, it's not too early. It's a matter of focus and being determined to go that way. There is no better way to build credit and no better way to build a network than remaining focused and going through that way. So it's very, very realistic. As long as you have some form of job that is giving you income, start small and build on that. Am I making any sense?
Yes, thank you very much.
Yes. And it looks like, Benga, there's a question on the chat. Somebody is asking about NACA. I said, what about NACA program? So what about NACA program? So NACA, I think the full thing is a Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America. They help you, start you on a savings plan and help you to build up savings and then put you through just seminars like this, home buying seminars, and what it means to own a home, how to go through the process, and help you to save up money to be able to buy. That program is there. And of course, a lot of people go through that program. But for me, I think sometimes it takes too long because sometimes you're in that process for 2 years. And once you change job, they ask you to start over again and things like that. But it's definitely, yes, it's a program. They offer it, but I think there are programs that can be faster than NACA, and you will still achieve the same aim if you can save money yourself. So, but yes, it is a program and it's available in most of the local jurisdiction that you can also go into. I personally don't participate in NACA as a program. So,
Femi, do you still have your hands up?
Yes, I just wanted to find out if this organization offers kind of like coaching systems or mentoring. I don't know.
You mean the Nigerian Center?
Yes.
We do have a small business program. So coaching or mentoring when it's small business based or financial based, The answer is yes. We are going to be offering small business program, financial literacy program, homeownership program, and also connecting folks to the resources they need. And that include mentors and all the support services that they need. So please reach out to us, let us know the specific needs so we can find the right resources for you.
Thank you.
And also to your questions about getting started in the home ownership at a very early age, I hope our interns are taking notes to go back and buy whatever they're living on the campus and start their real estate journey there. Thank you, Michelle, for the questions through chat as well. Do we have any other questions before we close it out? If not, Mr. Ed, we want to give you the last opportunity to leave us with closing words, action items, before I can share with the rest of the house next information.
Well, definitely, this is a very good opportunity. And I am very thankful. Oh, by the way, somebody just put a message. Do you feel it's imperative to rent first, then own? And if you rent first, how long would you recommend renting? To be honest with you, you don't necessarily have to rent first before you own. Most of the young kids I try to mentor, I tell them, while you're in school, while you are in your parents' house, begin to plan to own. You don't necessarily have to. There is no hard and rules about renting first, whether to build credit or to do anything. No, you don't have to. Just things you need to do, be responsible with your credit and know how to save. So, and what I want to say to everybody is this. If you know you want to own a home, your first priority, please take note. Your first priority is not to ride that Mercedes-Benz or that Lexus with the car notes. If you don't have that cash, don't do it. Everything should have order, right? If you want to own a home, then buy the house first, and you will still be able to buy that Lexus without a problem. But if you buy the Lexus first, make sure that Lexus has a place to put a bed and a shower, because you may not qualify now to buy the house. So the order is the house first, then any other thing. So savings tips, please put the right thing in the right order and make sure you go first with what you really need to get. If you're new in the country, yes, you do need a car in some of the states like Maryland, or if you live in Texas, to go from one place to the other. But please, I know most people will first take you to the dealership. The dealership is not your first point of call. Let somebody help you, even if save some money, 5,000, 3,000, get a used car, get by with that first until you are able to buy your house. Save money, save. The more money you have in the bank account, the easier it will be for you to get a loan, and the easier it will be for you to negotiate a better, deal on your home buying. Do that first. And then once you have your house, you can now, you can go to town and buy that Louis Vuitton bag or, that Lexus. That is the advice I want to leave you with. Thank you for giving me the opportunity and giving me your ears.
Thank you so much, Mr. Edward. So for those who are asking, how do you get in contact with him? How do you reach him? So next time, you're definitely free to reach out to Mr. Edward. Mr. Edward, if you want to leave your contact information in the chat box and how folks can reach you. However, for those who want to move forward with the home ownership process, again, we ask that you go to the website, complete our intake form, and then we can put you in contact with the relevant resources. Thank you so much. That said, I want to recap once again our future programs and opportunity to get involved in what we do. On the 29th of June next month, Next week, we are having our immigration rights workshop. This might not be for you. This might be people that you might know, communities you're connected to. Please let them know about this program. The lawyers would also be doing consultation right after the workshop. So it's a terrific opportunity. If you live in the Washington, D.C. area, we invite you to come to our very first meet and greet in Bethesda, Maryland, at the Roundhouse Theater, Theater House. This is the premiere of a live play called Nollywood Dreams. We are offering complimentary ticket to most people. So please go to the ticket, go to our website on the events on our website to register. There are 2 dates, July 1st and July 2nd at 7 p.m. We look forward to seeing you there. If you're interested in learning Igbo or Yoruba, we are taking applications and we are offering Yoruba classes online, open to everyone in the country. If you are interested in getting credit building loans for personal business credit or even business capital, up to $250,000, please complete an intake form on our website so we can provide you the resources we need. We ask for volunteers. Please join us on social media. The handle is the Nigerian Center, just Nigerian Center on Twitter. We ask for your donations to continue to do what we do. Thank you so much, and I look forward to staying in touch, and I'll see you all next week at our next event. Thank you, Mr. Edward, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for having me.